Welcome to episode 93 of the Hoop Threads podcast with another prospect spotlight. One of my favorite prospects in the DMV, Jalen Rougier-Roane. How's it going, man?
Doing good. How are you?
Man, glad to have you. So, first things first, let's start it off light. Tell me about your first dunk.
First dunk. It was probably seventh grade, actually eighth grade. And I just kept trying to do a tomahawk, or at least it felt like I was doing a tomahawk, but I just kept trying to dunk from as far as away as I could. And it was like at the halftime of like a girls' game. And I just went up there. I bet one of my strength and conditioning coaches, Coach Al, up at Bullis, like $20 that I would do it. And I did it. So, and I started yelling. Everybody, all the parents were just watching me. But yeah,
Did he give you that $20?
I never got the $20.
Oh man, you're gonna have to collect on that eventually. So, you know, let's get into that. How did you get to where you're at with Sidwell as far as, selecting a high school and just figuring out that was the best fit for you? And then we'll kind of get into AAU and some other stuff.
Yeah. So the biggest thing about high school is just like playing, and I felt like playing early would have benefited me heavily because I wasn't the best player in the world. So I wanted to go to a place where I would develop and have an opportunity to showcase what I have. And at Bullis at the time, I just didn't have that. So when I was looking into a high school, WCAC always came up. That's like the best conference in the U.S. So that was always like one of my few first options. But at the time, I probably wouldn't have played right away, or maybe not developed the way I have so far. So when looking into high schools, a lot of other schools like Murray, and then we heard of Sidwell and what Coach Singletary was building over there, and we just heard about all the development he puts into his players and like the culture they have there. And he actually seen me in a middle school game. We played Sidwell. We lost pretty bad, but he just loved the way how hard I played. Even though I wasn't the best player, I was just always out there giving it my all. So that showed he ended up showing some interest after that, and it's a hard school to get into. So that's like the hardest part of the process is you don't even know if you're going to get in. You might want to go. So I ended up getting in, and I knew like right then and there that's where I wanted to go.
Mm-hmm. Told gotta give a shout out to Coach Benji. I heard he was one of the first ones to believe in you too. So as far as your game strengths and weaknesses, I think you're a really good defender, and I think you can guard multiple positions, which makes you extremely valuable at the high school level, as well as the college level. I think you're pretty athletic, and you kind of have the size and the foot speed to stay with some point guards all the way up through some small ball fours at the high school level. And then I think at the college level, you might be able to guard, 1 through 3, maybe 1 through 4. We'll see kind of how you develop athletically. I think that's really important. I think your ability to score and the ability to put it on the floor, as well as, shoot the shootings, come a long way as well. Talk about some of your strengths, if you kind of agree with that assessment, as well as some things that you think you have to work on yourself.
Yeah, I feel like my strengths like heavy on the defense because like that's what I take my pride in because you don't need to work on that defense. That's all I want to. And I feel like I move well off the ball,
Mm.
um, able to shoot it really well. And what I'm just working on right now is just being comfortable with the ball because I've always been like a big man, so I've never really like take that time to handle the ball and stuff. So that's all I've been working on this summer is just ball handling, shot creation, just working on my shot creativity and shot off the ball.
Mm-hmm. I think it'll be much more important to, because you get to the paint and kind of when you get to your pull up or when you get to the paint and then draw to being able to see that passing read, kick out to the corner and stuff like that. I don't think that you're a selfish player by any means, but I think just kind of seeing that read and be able to make that play off the bounce is kind of the next step in your development. But who do you model your game after? Who are some of the players that you look up to?
I really recently like Jalen Brown.
Hmm.
Me and him have pretty similar games, just pretty efficient with the dribble, getting to their spots. So and he's one of those two-way guys in the league that guard the best player.
Hmm. Hmm. No, that's a good one. What are some differences in the game at the high school level that you've noticed now through 2 years of playing high school ball versus, middle school and, AAU basketball?
Just the attention to see, and I don't know if it's from Sidwell, because Sidwell, we do things differently than a lot of people, but
Mhm.
the attention to details way different. Like you have to be locked in the whole game, or you playing good teams, you mess up for like 2 minutes and now all of a sudden you're down 15, 20. And just like the pace of the game, like being able to stop these athletic guys just running up and down the court, and then also having the energy to score on the offensive end. So just you got to really be focused. Like there's no time to really not be locked in during the game.
Got you. I heard that you were quite the lacrosse player coming up as well. That basketball wasn't really even the first sport until you got to high school. Talk about the the development process, I guess, transitioning over to a basketball player, as well as the pedigree that you come from, with two parents that play basketball at a high level.
Yeah, so my parents didn't instill in me to play basketball right away, so they let me kind of pick and choose what I wanted to do. And I was big into cross until maybe around like sixth grade, and I think it was about like 10 or something, 10, 11. And then I picked up the basketball, and then from 10 to 11, 10, 11 to where I am now, it's just been strictly basketball, and just that's all I've been doing, just working on my game since then.
Got you. Your mom wanted to make sure that people know that the jumper's straight from her, though. It's not from your dad.
Yeah,
Is
I
that true?
mean, a little bit. She did teach me the basic mechanics on how to shoot, so I guess
I got you. Talk about a time that you faced adversity and some of the tools that you used to navigate through that.
well, more recently when I dislocated my patella, that was probably the biggest adversity I've had to go through, just because I was trending upwards, just everything was going great, and then that happens. I miss some AAU. The recovery process is like 2 months long. I know I'm not going to come back the way I was, but I got to just. It's almost like starting over a little bit, but
Mm,
this is going to be good for the long run, because it's probably one of the worst things that could happen to me. Everything else, I'm just going to have a different approach to. Like some little challenge, I'm going to think of it as, some people might think of it as high, like oh man, like that's a bad challenge. That's a big challenge, but I've been through this injury and it feels like nothing else can really get up to that point. So
mm.
just give me a different mindset on what I do from here on.
Got you. Yeah, it helps your perspective for sure. Who's the hardest worker you've ever been around, and what have you taken from them?
I would probably say Cam Gillis.
Mm,
Cam is probably the hardest worker, just because in practice he'll push you every day. Like what I seen him do to a Caden last year, he kind of made a Caden a little bit better, because like he was going 100% all the time. Like there was no time when you could really take a break, and or he would just end up frying you in practice, and you don't want that. So
yeah.
and that kind of rubbed off on me, because sometimes I'm a little nonchalant. I may be working hard, but I don't give off that same energy that Cam would. But
Mhm.
that kind of just made me want to like get my work ethic better, and I feel like it showed over the season, because you start to see like the little things that like I started to do. So
Mhm. Got you. Talk about the difference in your role, with Sidwell versus, a new AAU team with Team Takeover this past summer.
yeah, it was different, because Team Takeover is one of those programs where everybody's going to eat. So I kind of had a bigger role in Sidwell this year, being like one of the 3 4 guys that we had. So I kind of did a little bit of everything with Sidwell, and then with Takeover I was kind of more of doing the same things but just at a different work level. So I'd say the production was a lot more at Sidwell for sure, but definitely a different experience at Takeover.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a stacked team, that has some injury issues down the stretch, but you guys have a bright future ahead of you, going into 17s next year. So, what's the best habit that you have in your daily routine right now?
Making my bed. Nah, see, I have like a superstition about making my bed, because I started last season really bad. Like I probably shot like 9 for 52 in like the first term of the year. And then Coach Singletary would get on me for like doing the little things wrong. And he said, "How can you do the little things on the court if you don't even make your bed?" So I started making my bed, and like I just seen, I don't know if it was at the mind, but I just saw like a big just jump on like everything I did, and like I felt like I played way harder. I don't know, but just making my bed just felt like it really helped me out with just seeing another one of those perspective things that made me like not take the little things for granted.
Sometimes it is those small things, man. Small things make big things happen. So tell me about your gym schedule. What parts of your game have you been working on the most? What have you added, since the high school season ended to your game?
So the gym, so like gym, like weightlifting and basketball, or just
Yeah.
basketball.
Yeah.
So weightlifting, I try to get in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, um, usually towards 6 a.m. And then basketball, I do some days overlap. So we'll do like Monday, Tuesday, probably skip Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. And then usually Sunday is my off day.
Mhm.
Just
Okay.
trying to get in when I'm working on in there's ball handling, working on combos, coming off the ball screen, and just like different reads, making sure I can pass with both hands. And yeah, and just shooting all the time. I never go through a workout without practicing my shot.
Okay. What matchup do you look forward to the most? It could be an individual matchup or it could be a team one as well.
Well, I don't necessarily know our schedule yet, but I want to play Gonzaga because me, Derek, and Nick always having that TED talk that they think they're better than us. I didn't play in the when we played them in DC live, so I kind of and we barely lost, and me or Caleb didn't play, so I kind of just want to set them straight because they think that they're so much better than us. But, yeah.
I'm sure there's a good amount of chatter with that one for sure. What do you do that you think makes you stand out from the competition? And, how do you think you will contribute to winning at the next level?
I feel like I always play, and just being a two-way player. Not many people want the challenge of guarding the other team's best player
Mm,
because it's a tough task, but and also just my energy. I'm really energetic. So when you walk in, we're getting up. I'm guarding full court, so not many people want to do that.
mm.
So I think that stands out.
Okay. One of your best values to your team right now is your perimeter shooting. What have you learned about taking the right shot and impacting the game outside of your shooting when the shot isn't falling like it was at the beginning of the year
Yeah.
last
So I'll do it like the first one. So like I mean, in high school,
year? Yep.
Sing always said like you're not always going to get a perfect shot. It's just not going to happen. So just being ready and just trusting your ability to shoot the ball, even when you might not be the best look in the world, you just gotta have confidence in yourself to know you can make the shot and not hope for it to go in. Because if a shooter with no confidence is like you're kind of just shooting the ball, you're not making anything. And when the shot's not falling, coaches always say like get to the basket, just see the ball go through the net, get to the free throw line. And I like the mid range. So shots not falling, I kind of have enough respect that people will fall for a little bit of a pump fake, and I can just get to my one dribble pull up, and that's an easy shot for me.
Okay. Tell me a part of your game that you think flies under the radar or is a bit undervalued.
I would say my leadership and just decision making. I feel like I make good decisions with the ball, or I don't try to do too much, but at the same time, I see things that some people might not see and want to get my other teammates the ball, see them. If I like, I like to. I'm an unselfish player, so if I see my teammates cooking, I'm just gonna keep feeding them. I'm not gonna try to take away from what they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Got you. Yeah, and you have two teammates in a Caden and Caleb Williams that can definitely get it going in a hurry. What position do you see yourself playing at the next level? Playing offensively, and then also what positions do you see yourself guarding at the next level?
I see myself as a two guard, and just seeing my develop, even make that into a one. Um,
Mhm.
And I feel at the next level, just keep getting my body developed. The 1 through the 3 for sure, and then I guess the 4 is I can like handle my own if I get switched on. Like I'm not just gonna get bullied. But
Okay, got you. What parts of the floor do you feel the most, comfortable at right now? And then what kind of parts of the floor do you think you need to work on a bit to get more comfortable?
I feel really comfortable in the mid range. Um, and I want to get more comfortable in like the paint and just being more paced and not having to feel like I have to rush up a shot or just seeing what I have, like what you said, like may be able to like get by someone, get in the paint and make a decision off that. So just being more comfortable in the paint and not getting sped up.
Okay. What's your go-to move, with the game on the line, tie ball game, 10 seconds left, do you want a ball screen? Where are you getting the shot up from? What type of shot are you looking for? Walk me through that moment.
I so we did two. I would probably just like in and out like sidestep to my mid range because I feel like I create a good amount of separation with that. Then for a three, I'm gonna just I probably see I like to fade. I don't really shoot it in games, but if
Mhm.
I get a three, I might just same thing in and out sidestep and like just try to get it up.
You don't want to come off a screen. You want it off the dribble.
I feel like screens late game situation aren't the because I feel like they're just gonna blitz you and then now you have less time to do things with the ball. So
Okay. Rank these, from first to third in matter of like importance to you. Something that you care about is going to be at the top. So game winning assist, game winning bucket, game winning defensive stop.
I'm gonna go game winning defensive stop will go one, game winning bucket two, and then game winning assist three.
Okay. Let's talk about, values. What are some things that are important to you as a person as well as a basketball player? Whether that's trust, whether that's commitment, whether that's honesty, work ethic. What are some things that are really important to you?
Building good relationships, if that's like with coaches or even your teammates, because I feel like at Civil we have great chemistry. Um, and just trust. I feel like trust can go the longest out of all the
Let's
three.
let's touch on that real quick. Well, how do you build that chemistry at Sidwell? What are some of the important things, that you guys do there that kind of separates yourself from other
So
programs?
we just do everything together off the court. Um, in school we're always surrounded by each other, so that helps. But we just like each other, like we're okay, and that's almost like what the civil culture just built. That like you're just gonna like the other person. It's not gonna have any built up envy, regardless if they're playing more than you. It's just you're just gonna like the other person. So when you guys don't envy each other, it's real easy to play off each other, and there's
Mhm.
no like kickback. So yeah.
Okay. Tell me about some of your interests and hobbies, off the court. If basketball didn't work out today for you, what do you think, your career plan would be down the line as well?
So I love watching sports, and I've thought about being a broadcaster. Um, just outdoors. I like being outdoors, riding my bike. Big into art. I like doing art. I don't know if I would pursue that in later in my life, but I am. I like photography and things like that. So
Interesting. Okay. Did not
yeah,
know that about you. All
like I
right.
made. Yeah.
There you go. Uh, let's talk about, the next level recruiting. What are you looking for in the ideal college situation, whether that's, what type of coach you play for, what type of system, East Coast, West Coast, big schools, small schools, city, urban, what are you looking for as far as fit goes?
Well, I guess team wise, I want to feel like I can contribute my first year. I don't, it doesn't matter if I'm starting to playing little. I just want to have some sort of contribution to a winning program. Um, Having that like that chemistry with the coach, knowing the coach really believes in me and having that belief built. Now location is kind of it's not the biggest thing for me.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not a fan of the heat, so one of those things. But if the fit is there, I'm okay with the heat. So it's one of those things where it's not the biggest thing for me.
Okay.
Just
What about style of play?
style of play. I'd probably say more towards the faster paced or getting up and down. Um,
Mhm.
but at the same, it's like the same level of like the half court sets. Kind of like they have their own pros and cons towards them.
Mhm.
But yeah, and then teams that love to defend.
Okay. And last part of that, what type of coaching do you feel like kind of works best with you and your personality?
Just the I I guess when you make mistakes, it's going to happen. But I guess you kind of have to build that belief that those mistakes won't always happen. Like Sing doesn't get mad at me every time I make a mistake. It's just like it's going to happen. But earlier in my career, he was more on me about things. So
Mm.
just yeah, I guess just wanting to build that strong relationship with the coach as soon as possible.
Okay. Give me your goals for this season, whether that's individual or team. Could be AAU or it could be high school.
Just building on what I had last year. So we won everything you could have won last year. So the MAC, the MAC states, and then the state championship invitational. Um, Looking to repeat that. Um, I made all state 13 or 14, one of those things. So probably look to make that a first team. Um, Made all MAC. So just kind of replicate what I did last year and more.
Mhm.
Feel like that's probably the best recipe for success.
Okay. What has been your happiest moment on a basketball court so far?
When probably winning states the first time. When we won states the first time, that's when Caleb had the buzzer beater. Because that
Mhm.
was my first ever buzzer beater experience, and then the way it happened, because we were down 10 points with like 3 minutes, 4 minutes left. So usually people were counting us out like, okay, the game's over.
Mhm.
We string on a couple points. We're down. Then one of Wilson's Jackson Reed's players, fumbled the ball and gave us. I guess I think we were down one with a like 7 seconds on the clock.
Mhm.
And when that happened, it was like one of those moments where like it was like meant to be because like he was so open when he dropped the ball. It was like, all right, like the basketball guys are telling us that we're winning. So Caleb ended up getting the putback and everybody just started running on the court. I just started jumping up in the air. I think I twisted my ankle like coming down on one of the jumps, but I was so like high on life. It was just best moment.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game. I was actually in the gym for that one, up at GW. So, what sets the DMV apart? What makes this area special? Versus kind of other spots, other regions. Whether that's New York City, New Jersey, Dallas. What sets the DMV apart?
Just the skill level anywhere. Like you can go anywhere and to be someone that's like really good at basketball and just the AAU scene. All the teams are good in their respective circuits. Like there's no like sorry DMV AAU team. So it's and then also just like the competition. Like when you're playing somebody, you're always going to be playing somebody that's nice, or even if it's just as individual players, that's nice. We have a lot of teams out of this area that are big on the national level as well. So not many places can say that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Last question. What is your why? Why do you play the game of basketball? Why do you work so hard at it? Why do you put so much into it?
My whys, I love the game. That's the first one. Also just paying for a college education. That's the biggest thing. Tell my mom I don't have to make her think about college, and at the end of the day, that's helping me out too because get to college, that's one step closer to the NBA, which is one of my. I have like sub goals and make college is the first goal of mine.
Got you. Okay. And then, sorry, last question is actually, as far as your recruitment goes right now, headed into junior year, what schools are recruiting you the hardest right now? And, what are some of your thoughts, on those individual schools?
Xavier and Virginia Tech have been reaching out the most and just checking in on me, which has been a good for me to see. Just keep building on those relationships,
Mhm.
good programs coming off strong years. So yeah, looking to build on that.
Speak on those two and relationships with those two schools. What do you like about the relationships that you're building with the guys on staff, as well as I'm assuming some of the players?
just the support they've given me just from the basketball side.
Mhm.
And just reaching out to me, like just checking on how my vacations have been. And just they seem like they love me as a prospect and a player.
Awesome. Jalen, really appreciate the time, man. Look forward to watching you, this season, the rest of your career.
Appreciate it. Thank you.